developing story. We'll tell you what happens from there. But let's get back to the streets of Nairobi, the scene of an unprecedented spectacle as armored personnel and troop carriers patrol the capital today in the wake of deadly riots that have so far seen the killing of 23 people by security forces. Units of the Kenya Defence Forces rolled out of the Lang'ata barracks and the Kahawa barracks to assist the police in securing the capital following deadly protests that saw the storming of Parliament on Tuesday. Late this evening, the High Court in Nairobi okayed the deployment of the military into the streets, with Justice Lawrence Mugambi giving the government 2 days to regularize the deployment in line with provisions of the law. Citizen TV's Emmanuel Tor has been on a day-long trail of the unusual entry of the Kenya Defence Forces into the civilian law and order space.
Military vehicles rolled into the central business district of Nairobi mid-morning. The Kenya Defence Forces responding to deployment orders gazetted late Tuesday by Defence Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale. The KDF deployment, which was the subject of a court petition filed by the Law Society of Kenya, was okayed by the High Court late this evening. In his ruling, Justice Lawrence Mugambi held that the Kenya Defence Forces assistance to the police was necessary in view of the need to preserve order and protect critical installations. Justice Mugambi further directing that the government to gazette within 2 days the terms of engagement, period of deployment, and place and role of the military in helping the police. The Law Society of Kenya, LSK, had filed a petition against the deployment hours after Parliament approved the Gazette notice issued by the CS for Defence, Aden Duale, to release the military to deal with a security emergency after violent demonstrations against tax hikes. And hours ahead of the ruling, KDF units and equipment assembled at the Nyayo Stadium south of the Nairobi CBD before the drive into the streets of the capital began. From the armored personnel carriers, technical and patrol vehicles, KDF pulled out all the stops to put up a spectacular show of might as the military displayed their formation, command and structure. Armed to the teeth with their state-of-the-art guns, like this Special Operations Assault Rifle, commonly referred to as SCAR, they showed up to ensure they provided the effective support to the police service. A few minutes to 1 p.m., one by one, they marched in a single file to occupy their vehicles before heading to the city via Uhuru Highway. And the rest carrying the officers following, they snaked through the city, joining Waiyaki Way through to ABC Place roundabout, with roadside onlookers stopping to marvel at the rare sight of the men and women from the disciplined forces. The Kenya Defence Forces officers were in action on Thursday as they ensured there was peace and stability within and outside the capital. With the demonstrators in Moi Avenue halting the engagement with the police to escort them, chanting and singing. From uptown to downtown, they stopped to converse with different commanders from different police units to get briefs on where they would have wanted help. The conversation here at the Nairobi Remand and Allocation Maximum Security Prison taking longer than other stopovers after one of the vehicles broke down. And after a day of assisting the police, they retreated to Lang'ata barracks and to other military camps in the city. The deployment of soldiers to the streets is an unusual occurrence in internal security affairs. The boots were making a return to civilian streets for the first time in more than 40 years. The armed forces were last deployed into the streets in August 1982 following a coup attempt.